back, guys. We got Mac, we got Brock. Brock, how we doing today?
Oh, great as always.
There we go. There we
Great
go.
as always.
Absolutely. So what we got for you guys is our Week 10 fantasy studs and our pick'em for the week. If you haven't already, go check out our review and preview show over on the YouTube. Go check out the top 5 over on Facebook. You know, everybody loves to talk about celebrity crushes. So just saying, go check it out. So let's just get right into it, Brock. I know you and I talking pre-show. We had a couple of the same people. We had to adjust them out. We don't like to, we like to spread it out. We like to diversify.
Yeah, like we're not going to give you a 5. This is a fantasy 6-pack. We're not going to give you 5. We got to get you 6.
Yeah, that's right. You shouldn't have one gone by the time you get home, if you know what I mean. So,
what?
They know.
Oh,
they know.
Okay. I thought you were supposed to drink one on the road.
Come on now.
Whatever.
0 in Wisconsin, Brock. Responsibility.
True.
Fantasy 6-pack. I'm kicking it off. In the fantasy circles, this guy goes by the name of Bobby Trees. My number 1 is going to be Robert Woods. That Seattle Seahawks passing defense is on a historic pace of futility, awfulness. So, you could have easily gone Cooper Kupp. You could have gone with either of the tight ends. But you could have gone quarterback. You could have gone with Jared Goff, who actually is my FanDuel quarterback for this week. But I'm going with Robert Woods, number 1.
And you hit the nail on the head. I had him picked. That was our one disagreement or agreement. So had to drop him out. So who I replaced with is Juju Smith-Schuster. Against the Bengals, he always has a good showing versus the Bengals. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense has been very
spread out.
Very spread out. But I think Juju against the Bengals, I think he knows the rivalry better than any of the other wide receivers and will make the big splash plays this week against the Bengals.
You could see Chase Claypool have a big game after maybe he's still riding the high from Notre Dame beating Clemson last week.
True.
Who knows? My number 2, sticking with the right wide receiver. I think this is the first time all year I've gone all 3 wide receivers in my fantasy 6-pack.
I believe so.
I'm going with former Green Bay Packer practice squad training camp invitee great Travis Fulgham. I think he has a big game against the Giants. Could also go, again, you could go Dallas Goedert. I think he does have a big game, but I'm sticking with 1, Travis Fulgham. Yeah,
I mean, that Giants defense is good against the run, but it's kind of, it's sketchy against the pass. They played well.
They have that great sideline to sideline speed demon linebacker, Blake Martinez, so of course.
True. I mean, he's been playing well. Don't act like he hasn't.
There's a difference between being a tackling machine and a sideline to sideline linebacker. He is one. He is not the other.
Yes, I'm aware of that. We saw it first.
I don't think Fox is.
They don't know that they see him twice a year. But Fulgham's been one of Wentz's main targets all year, or since he's been on the roster.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him do well. I think that's a solid pick as well. But I'm sticking to my running backs. I'm going Alvin Kamara versus the 49ers. I think it's probably one of the safest picks you can do this week. I mean, we saw the 49ers defense can't really stop anybody. The Saints love to give Kamara the ball early and often. And I think that the Saints will be up big in this game as we were, and they'll actually have running backs. And I think Kamara could single-handedly almost take over this game.
Aren't you worried that they will be up big, and it's Latavius Murray or Taysom Hill getting carries instead?
See, what they did last week is they threw the Buccaneers for a loop. I mean, they always do it, and it seems like those primetime games, Taysom Hill's making big plays back to back. But any other week, he's like 2 carries, 7 yards.
All right, Brock. Over or under Jameis Winston pass attempts 0.5 this week.
We'll go over.
Okay.
We'll go over. I think he gets a couple snaps here, but I mean, he might get all it takes is one. He said 0.5,
Yeah.
so I'll take the over on that. I mean,
Okay.
if they play like they played against the Buccaneers, I don't see why not.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that offense played lights out. Their defense was great. I mean, but it's a new week, so you never know.
That's right. My number 3, again, sticking with the wide receiving core, sticking, whatever. I mixed up my words. I was going to go combine sticking and speaking. It came out spicking. Of a quarterback's favorite targets, Jarvis Landry, Cleveland Browns. I think he's going to be a target fiend for Baker Mayfield. Houston has not been able to stop teams' number 1 wide receivers. I think Jarvis has a big game, especially in DraftKings, which is full point PPR, as opposed to FanDuel, which is half point PPR.
Yeah, I mean, that full point PPR, I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So if your league is full PPR, I mean, if you believe in Matt, I mean, take Jarvis. We've been pretty good so far this year, so
that's right.
We were 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6, 6 out of 6 most weeks.
That's right.
My third pick, staying running backs against a defense that can't seem to stop the run. I'm going Antonio Gibson. He's been a solid contributor for the football team, and like I said, Detroit hasn't been very good defensively at all, and I think Washington with Alex Smith, I believe, is not their quarterback now. Can't be Kyle Allen.
Yeah, I mean, do they go back to Dwayne Haskins? Who knows?
I mean, Alex Smith did not have a very good game. He had 1 touchdown and 3 picks, but we'll see the quarterback situation there, or how long Alex Smith is in, or if Dwayne Haskins get in. I think the most consistent piece of that Washington team is Antonio Gibson this week.
Yeah, I agree. There's been some usage issues with him where they just don't give him the ball. There's a bunch of other people who should not be touching the ball in Washington. Like, you want to develop and you want to get your young guys some carries. Why are you giving the ball to, J.D. McKissick or exactly? So moving on. Again, something we've been pretty good at this year. Last week, not so much. We're all about transparency. When we do really good, we're going to throw it in your face that we fucking killed it. When we don't do good, we'll mention it just a little bit in passing and then move on. But
exactly.
we won't pretend like we killed it last week. We each went 1-2 last week with our picks. So we're going to bounce back this week. So I'm going to start off. You guys should know the process by now. We have our 2 locks and our 1 upset of the week. My first lock, again, talked about Travis Fulgham, talked about Dallas Goedert earlier. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3.5-point favorites over the Giants. Not only am I taking them outright, I would take them with the spread. Not that we take a look at that very much, but I think the Eagles win by at least 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, Eagles, they're playing better. I mean, Giants played well last couple of weeks, but it's the NFC East. I don't trust anybody in that. So that's a tough pick to make. I will also have a tough pick. I mean, I've been down the last couple of weeks, and I'm not going to take the easy route. Not going to take the easy games for all of them. My first one, I'm going Rams over Seahawks. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Seahawks can't stop anybody. Their pass offense or pass defense is I don't even know if they play with anybody on the field for most of the game. I mean, the Rams high-powered offense, if they can get any of those wide receivers going, running back, tight end, as long as Jared Goff plays well, I mean, the Seahawks could put up
competent,
40 plus.
not even well. It just has to not turn over the ball, basically.
Yeah. Just look what Josh Allen did. I mean, he put up 40 plus. I mean,
speaking of Josh, go ahead.
Could easily be a repeat performance from this Rams team.
Speaking of Josh Allen, we always talk about fan bases in the NFL. Packers are always up there. You always hear about the Bills being up there in terms of fan base. Bills Mafia deserves all of the shouts in the entire world right now. Yes, Josh Allen's grandma died before the game. I think last time I checked, they were up to $400,000 donating to a children's hospital in
they did that
in his grandma's name
too.
Yep. So Bills fans, shout out. I would say Packers fans need to pick it up, but it's a specific circumstance. But I think Bills fans can rival any fan base in all of American professional sports. So shout out Bills fans.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just their fan base. Everybody's, like you said, it's this Green Bay Packers fans, or it's the Steelers fans, the Cowboys fans. Yep. Bills fans don't get any love, but they're
old Buffalo.
They are a strong bunch, and they're to the core Bills or die. So you got to respect that as a fan of football. You got to respect how well they always show up. Yep. Good, bad, ugly. If it's 18 feet of snow,
and it was ugly for a while.
Yeah,
it was ugly for a while in Buffalo.
Yeah, and they'll come out and shovel that stadium. If they're 0-14, they'll come out and shovel it. They don't care. They'll be out there.
So my number 2. Speaking of fan bases, a little bit different, but whatever. The Las Vegas, not Oakland Raiders, will beat the Denver Broncos. Raiders 4-point favorites. Again, I think they win by at least a touchdown. Derek Carr has been very good this year. Not astounding statistically, but he hasn't been turning the ball over. He's been consistent. He's been accurate. Nelson Aguilar, for God's sake, has had a touchdown like 5 straight games, something like that. So, sorry, Dylan, but the Raiders will beat the Broncos. Drew Lock, if you have like a second half only league, or fourth quarter only, Drew Lock is your guy, but he sucks the first 3 quarters. So Raiders win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, my second pick. I'm going Ravens over Patriots. It's Cam versus Lamar. It should be a fun game to watch, interesting game to watch. But I think the Rams should win that pretty handily, especially if all their defense is out again. Ravens have been kind of in the headlines this week with, the other team's calling out our plays. Well, that's the NFL. They kind of study film. So maybe they get a little tricky. Maybe Hollywood Brown has a big game.
Lamar throws it 40 times.
Yeah, not bad.
So so the Ravens are 7-point favorites. Are you taking them with the spread, with the points, or you think the Patriots? Yeah, you think Patriots keep it close?
Not that close. Okay. Not within 7 points.
I gotcha. All right. Yeah, I think Lamar. He was drafted high in a lot of redraft fantasy leagues. First round if you're dumb, second round maybe. But he's been playing well. Like, he's been okay, but not first round fantasy draft well, and not.
He's been one
MVP
of the
level.
No, he's been one of the disappointments considered with all things considered.
Absolutely.
Because we expect what he did last year was almost unseen, and then he comes back and just kind of it's just average. He's a good quarterback.
His throwing has regressed, whether that's because defenses know what they're doing, or even if he hasn't regressed, even if he's just staying the same, they don't have as many big plays, and you always see that. So
keep everything in front of you. That's all you have to really do against speedsters, and as long as they do that, that eliminates big plays.
Yeah. Going on to my upset of the week. This team has blown a lot of leads over the last few weeks. The team they're going up against has been playing really tough, and they recently made a change at quarterback. I'm going with Justin Herbert and the Chargers to beat Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins have been playing really well. Chargers have been playing really well until the end of games. It's like they're the new Falcons. But I think Justin Herbert gets the best out of the rookie quarterback matchup, and the Chargers get the better of the Dolphins and end that little winning streak that they have.
I mean, Chargers have been doing that for years. It's not just this year. They've always found a way to lose every year. When games they should win, they lose. Late in games, they lose. They lose by field goals more than I think anybody has ever lost in the last 5-10 years. But speaking of Bills Mafia, I'm picking the Bills over the Cardinals. Do we think it is a upset? No. But do the odds think it? Yes.
They're 2.5-point favorites. At best, it should be
even.
A pick 'em, yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that they were 2.5-point favorites, there's no way. Like, yes, it's a road game, but it's not like there's massive home field advantages nowadays. Yes, the travel is bad, but 2.5-point. I just didn't get that one. Maybe we're proved wrong, but
Josh Allen. I mean, he's been playing at a very high level. Especially, I mean, he had that one down week. He bounced back against the Seahawks last week.
Big time.
But then the Cardinals playing equally as well. I mean, Kyler's having another outstanding season. That offense has been dynamic with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. So this matchup is a very intriguing matchup for me. I think this might be one of the games of the week. And I think it's going to be another competitive game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, but we'll see. Arizona, like we talked about earlier, has a short turnaround. They play Thursday night football against the Seahawks, so this is a really important stretch for them, coming off a loss against the the Dolphins last week, and then with this game and then Seattle on Thursday. It's going to be a big game for Arizona, so we'll see.
Yep.
But with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/JockTalkShow. Find us on the Twitter machine. Again, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, if you haven't listened already, go find the review preview show and go check out the top 5 on Facebook. But until next time, see you guys later.